I'm Nicole. Mom life and work life have had me a little MIA lately, and that sucks out my creativity when I'm just that busy. But today I'm coming back to you with turning some wax melts into candles. If you can't tell from looking at that intro, I've got way too many and we're going to do something about that. So stick around with me and we're going to turn them into candles. Alright, let's start with some of the supplies you're going to need in order to make these candles. I'm using these little glass jar vase things from the Dollar Tree. I loved them because they had a vintage vibe to them, so it was totally something I liked in the glass, especially that colored one right there. And nothing on any of the things I bought today said hand wash only or do not microwave or anything like that, so I'm hoping they are all good and glass and heat safe. And I bought the little jars with the lids. I have some wicks that I ordered some time ago off of Amazon and a glue gun to adhere the wicks with. I have a pitcher I bought just off Amazon just for melting candle wax in, and you just put it in a pot of hot water and your wax melts in that. I've also got these two just plain unscented candles from the Dollar Tree. We are going to melt them down and use them to pour in around the wax melts in one of our methods as a filler. To start with, I'm going to find scents that I think would pair well together. And since I'm only using a couple different packs for this, I think they'll fit in one of the little jars. So I'm going to start with trying that. So I'm grabbing my glue gun and I'm putting a little glue on the little metal piece on the bottom of the wick. And then just sticking my wick down in the center, best as I can center it up there. Now, the wax melts that I'm using are Better Homes and Gardens Berry Christmas Everyone and a Berry Pumpkin. And because they are both kind of berry scented, like a berry base, I'm putting them in the jar together. And I'm just going to break them up and throw them into the jar. Obviously not like break each piece down into individual parts, but just take them out and make them individual cubes. I have one stray Autumn Harvest wax cube I've had for a very long time. I decided to go in and throw in with the berry pumpkin. I think it'll be fine in there, and just to use it up and get rid of it, I put it in. I had a craft stick with a hole in it, which came with a candle making kit I bought a couple years ago, and the whole purpose is to hold that wick in place. You can also just use a pencil or a craft stick and wrap your wick around it to hold it in place and centered while you pour other wax in. Alright, I'm setting that one candle aside and grabbing another vase because I have taken one of the pillar candles and I've got it melting down in that big pot on the stove. So while it's going to take a little bit to melt down, while it's doing that, I'm going to start putting together another candle. And I'm starting with 3 packages of wax melts that are similar scents, or the same scents actually. You can see my stash here that I'm working on melting down. But I have 3 packs of this Better Homes and Gardens apple pumpkin because apple pumpkin is one of my favorite fall scents. So because these are the same, I'm going to put them in that metal pitcher that's in that pot on the stove and melt them down to pour them into this candle for the first base. Now that the wax is melted, I'm just going to pour it in. Your candle will look better if you don't do what I did. I had it splashed up on the sides, and that's just going to make my candle look a little messier, but it'll be all fine when it's burning. All right, so while that's hardening, we are going to choose our next scent. This was like some type of pumpkin cake thing I decided to melt down next. There's a country home I'm going to throw in on one layer. Honestly, I don't remember what order I did these in, but we're going to start melting this down while that hardens, and when it hardens, we can pour it on top. All right, I'm sliding this candle out of the way because the pillar candle has melted, and I pulled the wick out off camera. So I've just brought it over, and I am going to pour it around that first candle we did, and the wax melting in. You need that filler so that you have the wax to burn down and help hold your wick in place as it burns. So I'm just pouring it in, and then we're going to let that cool. And I had the perfect amount for that candle. All right, I'm just going to give you a quick view of what both candles are looking like so far. All right, I've chose my next wax to melt down, and I'm showing you here at my stove and how I'm putting it in the pitcher, which is inside the pot of hot water, to melt it down. Now that the first layer has cooled, I'm pouring in that second round of melted wax, and I'm going to continue this process with melting different waxes until that base is full. That first candle finally cooled enough that I could trim the wick and put the lid on, and I wrote in that little spot on there with just a Sharpie, and that's what it looked like. After this pour, I really didn't have any more wax melts I wanted to melt down, so this is where I stopped my candle. And that's our candles for today, and I cut my wax melt stash in half. Thanks for watching. Bye!